Greetings and salutations. This is Tondalea, and we are back for another episode of Astro Celebrity Gossip, right? Time to be nosy, basically, right? So, we are going to take a look at a couple, or shall I say, couples, all right? With all the gossip and everything that's currently going on in uh, the social media streets. I figured this would be a really good couple to take a look at. Y'all ready? Let's go. Okay, so we are going to take a look at Chrisean Blueface and Jaidyn, right? Because when you study astrology, you start looking at everything in the eyes of astrology, right? And so I want to take a look at the charts and see what's going on. I want to see what is the connection, what is the tie. Just basically be nosy and see what's going on, what the energy that's around them, and what have you. So, what we're going to do, we're going to first take a look at each of their sun, moon, Mercury, and Venuses, right? And then we're going to take a look at the relationship between Chrisean and Blueface, their connection, and then we're going to take a look at the connection between Blueface and Jade, right? So, and then I'll give a summary and we keep it pushing. All right, y'all ready? All right, let's go. So, as you can see here on the screen, um, Chrisean is a Pisces, all right, and then we got Blueface as an Aquarius. We have Jaidyn as a Libra. All right. So, Chrisean, her birthday is March 14th, 2000. All right. She's from Baltimore, Maryland. And this is, of course, if the information that's online is correct. And we have Blueface, born January 20th, 1997, Los Angeles, California. And then we have Jaidyn Alexis, October 2nd, 1998, Los Angeles, California. Right. So these people, they are my children's age, right? So I don't like follow everything that they do, but when they do something attention worthy, they make their way into my algorithm. Right. I believe the very first time I heard of Chrisean and Blueface was when they were fighting. They were fighting, it was like, I think at night or an evening. And yeah, they were fighting. That was the very first time. And so they made their way into my algorithm and they pop up from time to time. I think that they're very interesting. Now, Jaidyn in my circle just popped into the scene, right? Because like I said, I don't really follow them. But it just seems like that their dynamics, at least I can say with Chrisean and Blueface, their connection is very, very interesting, right? And I haven't seen a lot of interaction between Jaidyn and Blueface, right? But I figure it's worthy to take a look. All right. So just this, Pisces, Aquarius, Libra, that's an interesting combination, right? And whether they want to realize it, they're pretty much in a relationship with each other, right? Because now they share their children, they're in each other's lives, they're going to be in each other's lives for at least the next 18 years, right? So, there is some definite connections here, right? All right, so let's start with Chrisean. All right, so Chrisean, March 14th, 2000, and she is a Pisces sun, Cancer, Moon, Pisces, Mercury, and Pisces, Venus. Okay. So, just a quick recap. The sun is who you are, the moon is who you are inside, your emotions, your feelings. Mercury is communication, how you communicate, also how you understand, how you comprehend. Venus is your love language, how you give love, how you want to receive love, right? And then we have the energy of the Pisces, right? So with Pisces, Pisces is a free flowing spirit, very empathetic, very creative, very, intuitive, you know, and they depending on different aspects, they want to see the good in people. They will choose those people, but overall, they want to see the good in people, right? And then with that Pisces energy comes escapism, right? They really don't like to, face things head on, or I should say, they're really not confrontational like that, and 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 so when things get a little bit rough, a little bit difficult, a little bit stressful, they carry the energy of wanting to escape, wanting to remove themselves, wanting not to be a part of that, not to be accountable. And, too much of that could cause a lot of stress for the Pisces energy, right? With Pisces energy, again, they tend to see things through rose colored glasses, right? Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune, kind of lives in a land of delusion. Now, is that necessarily bad? No, especially if you have other aspects, right? But can relate to someone you're talking to and you're looking at the same thing, but they're interpreted a totally different way. Well, that's kind of along the lines of the Pisces. And it's not that they are lacking intelligence or, wits or smarts about them. It's that they see things sometimes on such a high spiritual level, it's hard for them to express it, or it's hard for us, the outside, to comprehend. Right. So there's a lot of energy that goes in with the Pisces, right? And they have the ability to see multiple perspectives, right? Which can cause them to delay in making any movement, right? Because at the end of the day, their intent is not to hurt, you know, but that sense of delusion or rose colored glasses, not seeing things as it is, can set them up for failure, right? It can set them up, it can make them an easy mark, because Neptune also brings along the energy of uh, confusion, right? And so, and typically, sometimes they don't even know if they're confused. Sometimes we don't even know what's going on. We just know something. Yeah. So that is kind of the energy with the Pisces. And so, because they see people in probably a higher regards than they should, they oftentimes can set themselves up for being taken advantage of. Just a whole lot of you know undoings, right? Then we have the Cancer, right? We know that the Cancers, they are known as the moody ones within the zodiac, right? Um, they tend to wear their feelings on their sleeves, even though they may not show it. Their feelings are typically on their sleeve. Um, They make decisions, especially with the moon. I mean, the moon in Cancer is doing what, I mean, that's a very good aspect, right? And so, um, her feelings, her decisions, her thoughts, her move, they're all going to be based on the moon. And what do we know about the moon? The moon changes, what I think signs every 2 hours, I think something along that line, or 2 days. So it moves. It's the quickest moving um, heavenly body up there, right? So, and that's how often the energy of the cancers move. Now, depending on other aspects, they may have a little bit more control, some less, right? But so when I'm looking at this Pisces Sun, Mercury, and Venus, what I'm seeing is that someone who is, can easily be enamored of a person, can easily fall in love and create this picture of someone that may or may not exist, right? Because they're creating an environment of what they want, but it's not necessarily what it may actually be, right? And so when the Venus is involved, she needs someone to connect with her that loves her on a spiritual level, on a spiritual connectedness. She needs that, and that's how she shows her love as well, right? When I see the Pisces and Mercury, what I'm seeing is that, she may dumb herself down in her communication, right? And this could be not to hurt people's feelings, um, not to cause chaos, but I see that uh, the energy that she carries is very passive, very uh, receptive, very giving. All right. Now, I pulled her chart up, and she also has Mars in Aries, right? So she is definitely a firecracker, right? She can get jiggy with the best of them. All right. So she can definitely, and it's typically mood driven. It's typically mood driven, right? And when she's on one, because she also has Taurus and Jupiter and Saturn, so she's very stubborn. And when she is set on something, it is what it is, right? But the thing of it is that she get mad and hot as a firecracker, but that Pisces is going to calm her down, right? And that moon is going to want to nurture, right? After the smoke clears, right? All right. So let's go on to Mr. Blueface. All right, Mr. Blueface. January 20th, 1997. All right, so we're looking at an Aquarius sun. All right. And then everyone needs to keep in mind that in all of the zodiac signs, there is a difference between the males and the females. Okay, so we have a male Aquarius sun uh, that we are considering Gemini moon, Capricorn Mercury, and Capricorn Venus. All right. So we know that with Aquarius in the placement of the sun, all right. So what is the energy that Aquarius holds, right? What energy does Mr. Blueface hold? His what we see, what he presents to the world, right? And who he is, right? So Aquarius embodies the energy of individuality, right? And it's interesting because they embody the energy of individuality, right? They want to move on their own and just kind of, they want to move on their own, right? But they are the sign of humanity, right? So they always have humanity at the back of their mind. Well, probably more so the forefront of their mind, right? But as moving as an individual, that energy is very important. All right. Aquarius also embodies the energy of rebellion, right? Now, I don't know a lot about Blueface, but I'm pretty certain I heard that he's gotten into some trouble or something. But rebellion, right? Um, Now they do have a very intellectual mind. All right, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Aquarius is an air sign. Air is intellect, right? So he's always thinking. He's always thinking. You know, thinking things through, processes through, right? So very, very intelligent, right? Aquariuses are known as like quirky or like a unique sense of taste, right? Uh, what people would call weird is, and not in a bad way, but just something not what everybody else is doing. You know, it's they're different. They stand out in some way, or in one way, and that varies from Aquarius to Aquarius, right? Because again, all of the aspects and placements make up a person, right? Um, the Aquarius energy, because they are ruled by Uranus, they move quick. They have a tendency to move quick and be unpredictable, right? So one day they can feel this way, the next day they can feel this another way, so they have this, they can just stop on a dime and switch up, right? That is the energy of the Aquarius. They typically, because they are intellectual, and people tend to gravitate to the message that they bring or the energy that they bring. They usually have uh, decent circles, nice size friend circles in different types of circles, right? Because of that, the variety of the intellect. And one of the things that people find the hardest to deal with Aquariuses is their ability to detach, right? And a lot of people say from like emotions, and that is because they are a mental sign. They are thought a thought process sign, right? And they're always going to filter things through the intellect above all. It's going to have to make sense to them, right? And that's just how it is. Now, with the moon in Gemini, right? The moon in Gemini is a very interesting placement. And what that is telling me is that moon in Gemini, to me, makes sense while he's dealing with Chrisean and Jaidyn, right? Because there's a duality there, right? He can relate in different ways, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. I don't know why that music had to be that loud, but okay. Um, but you know how he's able to uh, be two totally different people to both of them, right? And they're getting a lot of the same as well, but that Gemini moon, um, what that is telling me is emotionally wise, he needs multiple connections, not necessarily. But that's Aquarius sun. You know, I would say that he's trying to he would be perfect for a polygamous relationship in a positive manner, right? Because what I'm seeing in this social media is just a lot of stress, right? Uh, he that Gemini moon, because they are known as the tricksters, right? He likes to play emotional games, right? Because he likes to see the reaction, right? The reaction that he's putting out those games that he likes to see that. That is it's a pleasure his, right? Like, and then we have the Capricorn, Mercury, and Venus, right? And so Capricorns are very structured, very like they're ruled by like Saturn, right? So he is, and Saturn is like the represents like the father figure, right? The masculine figure, right? And so he in relationships takes on that role, right? And we'll kind of talk about that when we talk about the when we go into the different relationships. But he talks with authority, and he is able to communicate in a way that mm, I don't I don't know if I want to say brings about fear, but commands authority, right? Right. And then that Capricorn Venus is telling me that he he wants love how he wants it, right? He wants love how he wants it, and anything outside of that, he's going to reprimand until it gets in line, right? A very disciplined type of my way of the highway type of vibe is what that Capricorn and Venus, with that Aquarius sun is telling me, right? Yeah, he's definitely what you would call an alpha male, quote on air quotes. Um, you know, there's a lot of energy that's going on there. All right, let's take a look at Miss Jaidyn. All right, so Miss Jaidyn, October 2nd, 1998. All right, we have a Libra Sun, Aquarius Moon, Libra Mercury, and Libra Venus. All right, so when I see this, what I see is, relationships are very important to her, right? Libra brings that energy of wanting a partnership and, you know, um, wanting that connection and and all that brings, right? And Libra energy tries to bring about balance, right? But oftentimes is unbalanced because of the inability to make a decision, right? Because they want to make the right decision because they don't want to hurt no one, right? They don't want anyone to hurt. They don't want to anyone's feelings to be. They want to make the right decision. So in that, a lot of times there's an off balance there, but they really want balance. They really want justice. They really want that. They seek that harmony and that balance, right? They don't want people to feel uncomfortable, right? And a lot of times the Libra Sun, they have like an amazing way of making people feel comfortable, right? And appreciate it. And that's what I see with that Libra in Venus and the Libra Mercury, right? She's able to have soothing words or words that calm and bring balance, right? That Aquarius moon tells me that she is able to experience love in unorthodox ways, right? Able to experience emotions and that she can step out of the box with that, right? And with that, she can experience a lot because that Aquarius moon has the ability to detach and just think things through, can endure a lot. And that Libra energy that she has will just, weigh both ends, just keep weighing the good, the bad, the good, the bad, the good, the bad, you know. So, and a lot of times Libras will compromise and they will to their own detriment, right? So that's what I'm seeing with her. But I see that she is intellectual, probably very social and friendly, at least to her circle. Is going, like I said, gonna think things through both sides, right? And you can see with Libra, she's a very pretty girl. Libra ruled by Venus. Venus is beauty, uh, and she has Libra, so she has Libra Venus, so Venus. I mean, double. I mean, so she has a certain way about her that it can be very appealing, very attractive. Right. All right. So that is Miss Jaidyn. So let's take a look. Let's see. Let's take a look at Chrisean and Blueface, right? So I pulled up their chart and I just want to take a look at some of their aspects that they have, right? Make sure I'm the right one. Yeah. All right. And then I'm going to kind of go over my notes as well. And I don't know if I'm going to go through all of them, but just kind of the key ones, right? All right. So in their chart together, Chrisean and Blueface, their suns are opposing, right? And so with the suns opposing, that's a lot of energy wasted trying to explain yourself to each other, right? It's just misunderstanding, and it's just very, very draining, right? Very, very draining. Now, I'm not certain why they're arguing for the most part, but you can see because if you're going through YouTube, the videos will play, and if you have had a sound down, they'll play without the sound. You can see both of them just drain, and this is the type of energy that their relationship is carrying, right? And it can be the type of draining that just ruins your whole day. You know what I'm saying? It's just full of disharmony, and it's just a lot. It's just a lot. And if they're not putting in that effort to slow down, understand, they just push explaining so the other one can concede, or what have you, just find out a winner. That's going to be a constant strain on the connection. This is going to be just going to be a lot, right? All right. So the Sun trine Mars is a positive aspect, right? And what this is telling me is that there is a sexual attraction between these two, right? They have a strong sexual attraction, right? And that is what pulls them back into each other, right? It pulls them back in, right? Because they are connected with each other on, we all know that sex creates soul ties, right? And so that's what they're continuing to do. And because it is that attraction, and unfortunately, everybody don't have this particular aspect. right? And that's not saying that this is the only aspect that brings about pure sexual attraction, but that's why some got it and some don't. That's why it's important to align or know the energy that you're dealing with, especially your own energy, and especially your partner's energy. Okay. Now, Mercury square Pluto, right? So, uh, this this is, I believe, his Capricorn trying to direct or guide the uh, her thoughts, right? Trying to, and it actually can go both ways. She could be trying to influence him. He can be trying to influence. They do mirror each other to a degree. But it's just that they're not understanding each other, and because they're not understanding each other, they're exploding instead of like slowing down. But that is the energy that they have between each other. That Pluto brings about that explosion, that irritation, and then Mercury is that communication. So let's see what we have here. Jupiter square Uranus. All right. So what this typically is that in the beginning, everything is nice and sweet, and not necessarily even the sexual aspect, but just the connection. Y'all are vibing. Y'all seem like you're on the same path, but then it just kind of, it just kind of becomes more of a difficult finding things in common and getting on that line. But then there's that connection that attracts. There's an attraction, right? And then there's it's a difficult in giving each other the space, because there's like I don't know, it's kind of could be a toxic aspect between them. Let's see, Jupiter square Saturn, another challenging aspect. All right. Uh, what this is saying is that they may be too different to complement each other well. All right. Because one, Chrisean does a lot, right? And I think a lot of times that embarrasses Blueface, right? But Chrisean is coming from an emotional standpoint because she got that triple Pisces energy working, right? And he's coming from a very disciplined, and I'm not saying he don't have feelings and emotions, but I feel that she does a lot sometimes. Let's see, Venus square Pluto. All right. So it says a very strong passion, but destructive as times. Jealousy, possessiveness, and resentment are very possible. Right. So this is a very, 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 very strong aspect to have. Right. Because this is that if I can't have you, nobody can have you. It could turn into that type of thing. Right. And it's like, you Chrisean is feeling like she is putting in, putting in, putting in. She's doing this, she's doing that, she's doing this, she's doing that. And that energy in her mind is not being received. Her Pisces is giving, 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 and showing love, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. And his Capricorn is seeing it differently, right? And he sees it, not as she sees it, but he sees it and he just responds differently. And that difference drives her crazy, right? And then her being drove crazy drives him crazy, right? And so they have this sexual passion that, they fight and they have this sexual makeup, and then things go wrong. So then they, so it's right here, right? Mercury square Pluto. All right. So it's like Chrisean wants, if she could read his mind, she wants, like, because it's that triple Pisces, right? That triple Pisces energy wants to, if she could have an IV directly to him, and just, if there was an experience, she would do that, because that's that triple Pisces, right? Yeah. And then you have Blueface, that's, kind of off the wall, even though that Aquarius might be willing to do that. It's going to have to be done the way he wants it done. You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of thought process. He's going to rearrange it so it can make it seem like, okay, it was his idea. Just, but it's still the same oddness, right? It's still the same oddness. Let's see. Oh, so yeah. So what I was saying is that if she could read his mind, because she wants to be that connected to him, she would. And so, because she can't read his mind, she kind of fills in the blanks. You know what I'm saying? Or she may read too much in. At the same time, his Gemini moon don't be keeping it real, right? And so those emotional games that he plays with her is kind of like a guilty pleasure of his. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even say a guilty pleasure, but it definitely is his muse, right? Got Saturn sextile Uranus, all right? And so they're, let me see. If I had to say, they're more like friends, because they do have things in common, but I don't know. It's just it's just an oddness. It's an oddness that's there, right? Jupiter sextile Pluto. Uh, this right here, it brings growth within a relationship, right? And as people grow, their goals grow, right? What they see, what they wanted, it changed, right? And I think that is what has happened. That's the energy, right? And I think that is going to be kind of a constant energy, until Chrisean goes to like her Saturn return, where she uh, is really able to step into herself. It may come a little bit before then, but she is very young, and even the numbers, the degrees within her chart are very young, right? And so she's going to be looking at things from a very young standpoint, right? And so she's going to grow in her thought process, especially with this baby. Her visions, they're going to change, right? They're going to change. Same with him, right? His direction, it changed. Everybody grows and evolves, right? Venus opposing Jupiter, right? So because they are on different, let's see, thought processes at times, because you have Aquarius, he's an Aquarius, and so Aquarius, they already think they know everything, right? Because they're intellectuals, so they're gonna think things through, and they're gonna just make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and Pisces are coming from a more emotional, spiritual standpoint, so they're not, one is not bad, one is not good, they're just different. And because they're different, they oppose. And because they oppose, they have conflict over who's right and wrong, when it's really not a right and wrong, it's just that they're different. And that, I think, is a lot of their issues, their problems, right? And so either they need to learn to agree to disagree, and that they're just different, as opposed to trying to pull this person in their thought process, or make this person, they need to come to an agreement. All right, whatever. That's you, I mean, and then move on from that. But I think that there's, energies that kind of play against that, right? And so that is the aspects that this thing that I pulled up, right? And then we're gonna take a look at uh, what's her name, Jaidyn, and what's his name, Blueface, and then I'm gonna go over my particular notes that I had particularly written down as well, right? So let's see the energy that they have. And when I looked at their chart, their energy is different, of course, right? Because you have different planets that are that they bring different energies, right? And so um, now Blueface and Jaidyn has a sun square Mercury, right? So that is communication issues, like understanding each other, the comprehending, right? And I think that because she is weighing things out, this what is it, like, interrupts, right, the conversations. One of them are interrupting conversations, and the other one is feeling like they're not being heard, right? And because of the differences that they have, the differences that they do have, they feel like, okay, I'm not being understood. We're not on the same mental level. You know what I'm saying? But that is really a deeper problem, right? It's not what's being said. It's all of the other stuff. It's like the actions or what happened. All right, so we got Mercury square Venus. All right, and so I think this is what kind of balances their relationship out. Not to mention all of the balancing and absorbing that she does, that Libra energy. You know, and this aspect is basically telling me when it's good, it's good, when it's bad, right? And when they communicate and the energy is up, it's really good. But when there is that negative energy, it's very degrading. It's very a lack of accountability. It's more of your fault, your fault, your fault. And so there's resentment that kind of chisels away at the relationship with this energy is involved, right? Let me see what we got. We got Sun trine Venus, all right. And I think that this as well, because this is a positive aspect. They and this is what I see. I mean, I'm not saying that the ladies aren't toxic, right? But I believe that the energy that Blueface is carrying is the toxic energy here. You know what I'm saying? And I would say even between both of them, I think that sometimes he throws things up in the air just to throw things off for his amusement. But I believe that when he's not on that BS, it's good. You know what I'm saying? That they're good together. They enjoy each other's company and the interest that they do have. It could be a good situation, but I just see that it's the ego. You know, Let me see what else we got. Sun square Saturn. Uh, I think that is like one. I think that because what's her name? Jaidyn wants that partnership and that closeness and that that nurture and that companionship. You know what I'm saying? Um, that he can do that, but I don't think that's what he wants to do all the time, right? And so that because that's what she wants. It's and he gives her what she wants at times. There is like a mm, there's like a weight hoping that energy comes back, you know. And so and hoping that energy balances back out, she's waiting on those good times because they do have good times, they do have connections. Let's see. So they have a sun conjunct Mars, pure sexual attraction, right? So this is why they're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? Because the sex is driving them. There is their connection. He has a sexual connection with her. He has a sexual connection with Chrisean. They have emotion. They have connections. You know what I'm saying? And then she is able to, like I said, she's talking to him in a way that soothes the beast that's within him, right? But see that Gemini is going, that Gemini energy, that Gemini moon is going to get restless and bored, right? So he's gonna be able to do, the home life, but then he's gonna need a variety of, you know, weirdness, but in a control, as long as he's in control. All right. What was that? Sun conjunct Neptune. All right. And so what this is saying is that these two, Jaidyn and Blueface, they have, I think that he is well with Chrisean, but they have an aspect together that no matter what happens, they're going to be able to forgive. That's going to be Chrisean anyway. But we're talking about these two, Blueface and Jaidyn. They have a connection that they're going to be able to forgive each other. All right. There's a certain level of tolerance, right? And nobody is going to be able to, on the outside, is going to be able to understand this. Nobody is going to be able to understand this, but this is a thing. All right, let's see here. Okay, so the notes that I have in looking at that chart, because I've just kind of created my own little chart. Let me see where we're at time. Hold on, I might have to make this into 2 videos. All right, see if we can get this done fairly quickly. So this is my summary, right? All right. Blueface and Jaidyn, her moon is Aquarius, right? So they have that connection. So they're able to connect with each other in ways that other people can understand, right? Which is the same with Chrisean and Blueface, right? Um, she provides an escapism from him that he can't get from Jaidyn, and he can't create himself, right? Because he's always up in his head. She provides that energy. Blueface or Chrisean provides that energy for Blueface, right? So she is his escapism, right? And then Jaidyn is his balance. right? And he is, with that Capricorn energy, he's just acting like he's just Big Daddy between both of them, right? And because of the energy that they both possess, they're just kind of submissive to it, you know. Chrisean and Blueface, they have this dom sub type of relationship. I wouldn't necessarily call it marriage partner ready type, but it's like a dub dom sub relationship, you know. I don't know. Does she call him daddy? Whatever daddy want, daddy get. That type of energy is the kind of energy. And his Gemini eats that up. His Aquarius sun eats that up. He loves that, right? Krishan will basically do anything for him. I seen that she has like 3 or 4 tattoos of this guy's face on her body, and in her mind and her heart and her soul, she really loves this dude. She really, really loves this dude. And as toxic as she is, I believe that she enjoys uh, doing anything for him. He enjoys the power that he has over her, right? And they feed off of each other's toxic because they have a unique relationship, and their unique relationship is different than the one that he has with Jaidyn. They have a unique relationship. I don't care what these people, well, what Chrisean does to Blueface and Blueface does to what happens between him and Jaidyn. They're going to be able to forgive each other. They're going to be right back as if nothing happened. Something really bad is going to have to happen. And the thing is that they're going to be the ones to determine that, not us. And with the Aquarius energy that Blueface has, and the Aquarius moon energy that Jaidyn has, and with this Neptune energy, Pisces energy that Chrisean has, it's probably not gonna make sense to anybody but them. Why they finally, if finally ever call it quits, why they did, right? And without that energy, because uh Krishan's Aquarius, her Uranus is in Aquarius, right? So they're into all three. Well, I'm not saying all three of them together, but in their collective couples, they do some very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. I will say that. And I would not be surprised if they haven't all slept together or if they won't in the future. Right. Let me see what else. And I really think that if they are moving in high vibration, it actually could work. I think what would stop that, because you have two women here that when in love, when in partnership, when faced in those type of situations, are really willing to do just about anything for their partner. And so I think that if he used that mind of his, to work in harmony with his Gemini and not cause havoc and not use them two as his amusement, to the degree that he could probably make it a non-toxic environment. I really, really do believe that. I believe that her true node is in Leo, right? South node is in Aquarius. We're talking about Krishan now, right? So where she's going, where she's coming from, what she needs to master versus she what she needs to let go of, right? And so with her future or true node being in Leo, I think she needs to really focus on herself, right? finding value, and I'm not saying she don't find value in herself, but because of the love that she can have for other people, she may neglect herself, or she may neglect doing what's best for her, right? And so with that true node, that North Node in Leo, that's telling me that she needs to focus more on self, right? And that's not to say to be selfish or nothing along that line. Her South Node's in Aquarius. All right, so from a spiritual standpoint, him being Aquarius, she needs to let go of toxic relationships. She needs to let go of people that cannot connect with her on a emotional level. She needs to stop giving people her energy that can't give her the same energy she wants back, or be willing to accept what she gets, because you gotta you gotta let it go. His true node is in Libra, South node is in Aries. So what this is telling me is that he needs to really kind of focus on, on partnerships, and not focus on self and being selfish and causing disruption, and use maybe that energy of the Aries to activate that which is in Libra. Work on being more balanced, more centered, you know, not causing chaos, working in harmony. Jade and her north node or true node is in Virgo, south node is in Pisces. So what that's telling me is that she needs to work on becoming more structured, being working on more of the detail, and to let go of things that no longer serves her, things that brings her delusion, things that and things that throw her off or that causes harm to herself. She's supposed to be working on herself and providing a certain level of service to others, but in order, right? So, okay, we kept this under an hour, right? So that is overall, my readings of them, just pulling up their chart. Of course, this is without their birth times. Birth times are important. It tells me what planets the houses are in, and that gives a little bit even deeper look into them, because the birth charts will tell you your whole soul, right? And when you compare that to your partner's chart, or in this case, this would be kind of like how I would do a poly couple, or people just seeing the energies that is between them. You can see that. And it's not to say this is definite, but if you know that energy is out there, then you can make the adjustments that you need to work on it when you see it come up. But of course, that takes really good Mercury aspects. You have to be able to communicate and comprehend. It takes good Venus aspects. You have to be able to love yourself and love the person that you're with, and love them enough to understand their love language, right? You have to have a sun that's in a good placement to where you're not just focused on yourself, that you have the ability to focus on. See, some people, depending on their placements, don't have the ability to really be in a relationship or get what their partner needs. And it's not that they're a crappy person. It's just what the ability that they have is different than what their partner requires. Whew. Well, this has been an interesting. We've been nosy enough. I tell you what. All right. Well, you all leave a comment below. Make sure y'all like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this video. Give me y'all's take. What do y'all see? Because y'all probably know these three better than me. But what do y'all think? How do y'all think this is going to end? I just seen what, a day or so ago, she renamed the baby his name, right? And right there, that's that, okay, I'm in my feelings. And I'm not saying she wasn't even wrong to be in her feelings or what have you, but she's in her feelings. She names the baby after her, which I thought was dope. I thought that was dope, naming that baby a junior. You know what I'm saying? But then, she said something like, "Oh, well, he needs a junior." That was mean, and that's that sweetheart gonna forgive, and so, and then you have the Jaidyn at home mad, seemingly mad, but she's there, right? She's there, right? So she's thinking it through. She's thinking it through. It could be, the whole dynamic could be different, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll do another update. Also, if you want to see me do a review on a couple or an individual, let me know. I will do them. I already have 2 couples loading on deck. I won't comment who they are yet because it kind of takes a minute to pull all the information and kind of compile it and read the reports and stuff like that. But yeah, drop me a line below. I'll be more than happy to do the reading. I do have some really good ones coming up, so stay tuned. I will see you all later. Peace and blessings.